Hey, welcome to my breakdown of the strategy behind Never Enough. When I was singing this song, I had a lot of intentional thoughts, some mistakes, and any kind of little things that were going through my head, and I just wanted to share them with you as I actually go through the song and piece by piece point out some of the things that I do to make this song the way that I want it. So I hope it's super helpful for you. Let me know if I can help you any more in the comments. So let's get started. I begin with deep, silent breaths off mic. The worst thing I could do in these intimate moments in the beginning is sniff, clear my throat, or scoop up a big breath. It takes the listener out of the dramatic nature of the song. I'm trying to hold my breath. I get very close to the mic and focus on feeding the notes with air. I'm not sealing, instead thinking speech level separation of the folds. I imagine I'm talking to someone and they're right next to me. Let it stay this way. Can't let this moment end. I'm really intent on nailing this low note. Let it stay this way. So I seal down there because otherwise I'm going to widen the folds and I might not have the amount of fold connection I need to phonate at that low of a fold stretch point. I change my consonants. Listen to moment end and how I dampen the T to match the D. Can't let this moment end. This allows for me to keep the breath in my body and not spend it, giving the phrase brighter frequencies. The flat pitch on moment doesn't really bother me. I leave it alone because it makes the performance more authentic. Some of my favorite artists don't use auto-tune. Adele, Alicia Keys, Freddie Mercury. You set off a dream in me. Dream in Me was a very intentional vocal brush stroke. Vibrato on dream, pitch bend on in, and that gust on the end of me is an emotional tool. Gusting, as I call it, makes things sound more desperate, more dramatic. The vibrato on dream was not my favorite at first. I felt like it made me sound a little bit more theatrical and too mature, but I really like it now. You set off a dream in me. Sometimes you just have to trust your voice and leave that moment alone instead of beating your phrases up with criticism. In has a yodel, and you'll hear me yodel a lot. It's part of my signature style due to my Alanis Morissette influence. I like it because it's what makes me sound like me. This is something we all have to find on our vocal journey. What makes your singing sound like you? I do wish I would have touched down more on now and really opened that low note. Getting louder now. I'm really into low note ownage. Instead, I threw it away and I chalked it up to art. Think about how I could have played with that lyric more, but instead I got a little softer. A better choice would have been to lean into the vocal load mode, applying more fold connection to squeeze out more decibels down there. Great singers pay homage to the lyrics so that they can translate the message of the song with integrity and not just use the song as a vehicle for their voice. Getting louder. Can you hear it echoing? Take my hand. It's embarrassing how many times I had to sing this take my hand phrase. Light load mode, quieter sound is always hard to control than medium or heavy load mode because you have less of the fold to work with to achieve phonation. But hey, we got it eventually. Listen to that vocal fry. It's what makes this song less polished and more normal, more human sounding. I love a vocal fry to bring something to a poppy place if it's in danger of sounding too operatic or too unrealistic. The vibrato here on gold is a dramatic construct I like to use when I want to communicate a sense of sincerity. Let's hear it again. Crying at the beginning of notes is simply intentional fold separation, or yodeling to begin a note. It's an essential emotional tool for singers, giving the performance that desperation and angst it calls for. Listen to these yodels. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough. Never be enough for me. I could have lasted longer in this phrase without taking a breath, between it'll and never, but this one didn't bother me that much. It's just not a natural place to take a breath in the thought flow of the phrase. You want to take breaths where you might take them if you were speaking. I would have liked to feed this note with more dynamic arc, starting softer and with a more dark resonance, then opening the jaw, getting louder, and finally introducing the shake. Also, the "for me" kind of creeps up on me, so I'd like to take more ownership of it. Sometimes you just have to take the leap. Not knowing if I could actually even nail the hardest notes in the song, I still stood there ready to see what my voice could do. And yes, I practiced, but I had still never gotten the beast notes to a place that I was happy with until this very moment. So what a thrill to take the safety net of your own practice room away and be left with the evidence that you can execute hard things under pressure. Sometimes you just gotta push yourself. I could have created more of a dynamic arc on this last me. It has a 2D quality to it that I'd love to improve upon in the future. There's those push-pull dynamic arcs I've been looking for. For me, true artistry is dimension, and this whole phrase had so much of it. The authority of indulgently chewing the consonants on these words and going back down into a lower note range was so enjoyable. Like a well-deserved break, a recommitment to the message of this song. I can hear my love for Celine in that moment. Let's hear it again. She's the queen of using tasteful height in a phrase to add interest. I can hear the heaviness of the bottom notes in this phrase. My voice was ready to land the plane. Carelessness is a mark of the brain running out of bandwidth, especially after such big assignments as those high notes. Notice how I switch up the vowel on me. Because it was shorter and sweeter than the long note before it, I chose to make it more speech level, more me instead of may. No one actually says may for me, case in point, Justin Timberlake. It's gonna be May. I wanted to point out how I almost never articulate R's when singing big epic songs like this. They curl the tongue, they pull up the digastric muscle, which means it's pulling on the hyoid bone, and bringing the singing to too conversational of a place. It's also not as universal of a sound. You don't want your accent, no matter where you're coming from, to pull people out of the character. So I try to eliminate R's where possible. That high F5 was actually easier than the E flat 5 because of where I placed the resonance. The notes are spinning around in the back of my nasal cavity called the nasopharynx. I lowered my soft palate so the sound flows into my nose and creates a bottleneck effect because the nose is a very small sound exit as opposed to the mouth. That bottleneck creates inertive reactance, a fancy term for neutral sound waves that balance the vocal folds and make singing effortless. When in doubt, send sound to your nose and let those high notes soar. What makes this for me here so dark is the raising of my soft palate, putting the vibrations into my pharynx, which is the back of your throat, and coloring the notes with maturity. The pharynx is my best friend when I want to sound more serious. I hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes look at my personal strategy while singing Never Enough. If you're ready to take your voice to the next level with proven techniques that get real results, let's schedule a strategy session for you. I'd love to hear about your vocal journey and see what I can do to get you to the places that you have waiting for you around the corner. Click the link below to get started.